Hello and welcome, Crab here, and today we will be making this fuel power plant to hopefully produce 40,000 megawatts. Let's begin. Potatoes and sausage are just the greatest combination any one person can come up with. Anyways, we have oil processing now, which means we have L refinery, plastic, rubber, and fuel. Yeah! I cannot wait. Now that our beautiful boy is back, what we're going to do now is get the jetpack. And of course, going to make the jetpack. Yes, we can finally fly around. Crudely, but we can fly around. Now, I can hope you tell by the thumbnail, we aren't going to be focusing on plastic and rubber today. So instead, we're building this throwaway piece of shit. We are over in the oil fields over off the something coast. I forget what it's called. Basically, I have 4 machines making rubber, 4 machines making plastic, and then 2 machines for petroleum coke. We're gonna hook them all together and get them going. The reason I have 4 of each is because each machine takes 30 crude oil, and I'm using 2 medium nodes, one that's here and one that's up here, I believe. And we're going to be making our plastic rubber, and then the output of the heavy oil residue goes into the petroleum coke, because 10 per machine, 40, 120, recycle the petroleum coke, end of cycle. I know we're moving quickly, but this has to be the ugliest thing I've ever made in my entire life. It's very temporary. Ugh. Like, I regret doing this, honestly. I wish I made it nice, but I'm gonna delete it in a solid, like, 2 hours, so it doesn't matter. We're just trying to get oil and plastic so we can go unlock Mark IV logistics and the fuel generators. Now, of course, before those 2 things, we have to get packaged fuel so I can use my jetpack correctly, because slippity hopping around with biofuel in my jetpack kind of sucks. So, packaged fuel time, baby! I entirely lied to you. I forgot. I wanted to get Mark IV logistics while I was here, too. It's only a 3-minute wait. Now, I'm scanning this hard drive right now because we need 2 things. Now that I've unlocked packaged fuel, we need the alternate recipe for in the refinery that lets us put 60 packaged water and 30 heavy oil residue to make 60 fuel canisters. So I'm trying to get that recipe, and I'm also trying to get the 30 oil for 40 heavy oil residue recipe. This is the recipe I was talking about. Luckily, I got it on my very first one. Now we also need to scan for that heavy oil residue. And since I've waited a little bit, we have more plastic and rubber. We can finally get petroleum power, which means we have fuel gens. Yes, yes. And these beautiful boys are going to serve us well. Oh no, it's gonna fly away. It's a tornado. I know I'm moving very quickly, but we have like a lot to do today, so this stuff is boring and I don't care about it, and it's super simple, so I'm skipping through it. Packaged fuel, here's how it worked. We took 30 of the plastic we were making out of the 60 and making the 60 canisters. Those canisters go into this packager, added with 60 water, make packaged water. Then we shove it in here with 30 heavy oil residue, 60 water, make 60 packaged fuel. We could ba-doopa-doopa back over there, and now we have fuel, which means, guess what we can do? We can, wait, what? Give me. Now we can fly with fuel. Yeah. Oh, this will make building so much easier, because that's what I have to do next. I'm terrified. Now, I'm not going to go over the numbers right now, but I thought I would show you this. This is my test world where I plan out all of my factories. As you can see, this is a utter mess of shapes, but it's quite simple. We have about 90 refineries and about 160 fuel power plants we have to put in, and about 90 to 100 of these beautiful packagers we have to put in somewhere. I want to build in this space, and I want the building to look natural, so there will be a lot of curves in here, not too many flat surfaces on the outside edges. Generally, how I'm planning this is this side will be the packaging area, this bit in the kind of this half of the section will be refineries, and that half will be fuel generators. I've done the math kind of just spacing things out so you can see I've placed them. Fuel things will fit, refineries will fit, and packagers will fit. Now, the important thing to realize is that this is all subject to change. Once we actually build it in game, I might move pathways, I might make this build bigger, I might make it smaller, I don't know, but I thought I'd show you this is kind of how I plan things out. A bunch of random shapes, buildings on the floor, and water encroaching on my space. Curves are awesome and suck in like every way. I have changed the shape. It was like these random squiggly lines that were jutting around. Now I've made it more like a very stylized sad L that's facing the wrong direction. But I mean, underneath me is flat. So we have our 4 basic sides, and then it kind of has like a weird shape right here. No, I haven't done the edges. I haven't added any details. I haven't built down. The reason for that is in case I need to change anything, I do not want to have to redo all the details. We're going to be building all of the machines before we detail the outside. So what I get to do now is basically turn this nice, beautiful, luscious blue area into a concrete slab. Okay, I've concreted, as you can see, and I have the layout in mind for all of my machines. Now, we're going to go through the math, because that is important for you to understand what's going on. Duh, this entire game's about math. We are trying to make 40,000 megawatts of power using fuel. Now, this is going to go into our lovely fuel refineries, specifically 160 of them, which is about 10.7300 pipes of fuel. Now, to make that fuel, we're going to do some shenanigans. We, of course, are using this alternate recipe, the one that I needed earlier, the packaged fuel, because it's 30 heavy oil residue for 60 packaged fuel. And to make heavy oil residue, it's 30 crude oil for 40, which basically means we're taking 0.75 crude oil to make 60 packaged fuel. That makes sense. So I mean, the easiest way to show it, if we make this number 30 right here, if we are taking 30 heavy oil residue, it's 22.5 or 75% crude oil. And then we turn this, we take that 30 heavy oil residue, add it with some water, and we get 60 packaged fuel. The most efficient way to get fuel of any kind. Now, our issue is unpacking and packing, which is where all these packages come along. And our other issue is being limited by how much oil we have. I'm specifically only using 1200. I have 2 pure nodes, one that is right there, and the other one that is right there. Those 2 pure nodes are going to run this entire factory. Since we're dealing with a packaged item, we have to do some complicated stuff. Like I said, we need 60 packaged water per 60 packaged fuel. We're making 3,200 packaged fuel. So we need 3,200 packaged water. We are going to come to a problem. When I did my turbo fuel video, I came into a problem where my canisters were not looping correctly. Basically, what I would do is this packager would go into this refinery, and then this refinery would unpackage, and then these canisters would go to this packager. What happens is, if this gets overflowed, this packager stops getting canisters. And if this packager stops getting canisters, we stop making fuel for this refinery, and so we slowly shut down our system. And like, it's not, the whole system won't shut down, only a few will go at a time, because of course it's an overflow. As soon as that overflow is gone, it'll open back up and the packages can keep going through. So what I have to be very, very careful of is making closed loops. Anyways, I hope that was easy to understand. Then we're going to put our 160 fuel generators right here, but I'm going to do that at the very end, just in case I need to expand these in any direction. I want to have the space available to me. Now, what I'm going to go do is try and figure out if I can get 600 pipes, because I don't think I can, and get a few more resources, because I do not have enough motors or, you know, anything from the steel factory, so I have to bring it over. And then we're gonna have a lot of fun building some goddamn refineries and packagers. Okay, we're unlocking industrial manufacturing because I have seen this. Is Ada, I know. Right here is Mark II pipelines, which take heavy modular frames because of the Mark II pipe pump, I believe. So what I'm going to do is just handcraft a few of these heavy modular frames real quick. Because, yeah, I don't want to place down 30 goddamn pipes. Alright, guess what we got? We got pipeline Mark II. Pipeline pump, you suck. I got pipeline Mark II, I'm so happy. Okay. Okay. Wow, my life will be so much easier now. I don't know why, this took like 2 hours to do. And I didn't even do like most of the belts or piping on the outside bit for those ones yet. But the belts and piping are in. We had to do some shenanigans. We're producing 60 fuel canisters per refinery, which means we're producing 660. I only have 4080 belts, which means I have 3 machines that are producing over what a belt can hold. So the last 3 machines on all of these rows have their own separate belt line. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we have 8 belts of packaged fuel. I just like did the math in my head real quick. Now, generally how I usually do these kinds of factories is I build them, decorate them, wire everything last, then turn it on. Instead, what I'm going to do is turn everything on before decorating. The reason for this is decorating is going to take a few hours, and I would like to work out all the overflow kinks in advance, considering I have so many belts and quite a few loops going on. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to do the packagers and unpackaging section, and then I'm going to set up the 2 oil nodes right there to make canisters so we can start putting canisters into the cycle. And of course, I'll have the fuel generators down by then, so the whole system should work. I don't like this. Ow. Oh my god, dude. Like down here, if you look, it's like, it's a mess. But I mean, it's a relatively clean mess, but... Okay, well, as you can see, the water belts are in. What are you guys doing here? Be gone! Oh, and there's bugs chasing me. How terrible. The water belts are, split up strangely, to say the least. So, I believe I mentioned, but we have a problem when it comes to the math of this thing. Those 2 refiners right there are overclocked, okay? So they're actually 2 refineries, which means they have to be connected to the set of... Okay, so in each line, we have these 3, right? At the very end, we have these 3 refineries. All the others are in sets of 2, but at the very end, we have 3, okay? Now, what that means is 1 belt covers 2 of these. So when I bring in my heavy oil residue and my water, the belts and pipes go in here, but we still have 2 machines worth left. So then what I have to do is all the way underground, bring it over to one of these things. Right, so then it goes into that refinery. And then take the output and bring it back around to the line, the output line of the fuel, back into one of the lines to then take it over here. Will be unpackaged. And then these 6 end up being that 7th line that's like not all the way full. If that makes sense, basically I've had to do some shenanigans. And those shenanigans aren't complicated, they were just a little annoying to work out. Now over here, like, these are our water packagers. It's all set up. I don't have any of them overclocked. It's a full 54 of them. How we have the line set up is this is a full 480 line. So each line is 8 machines. So 8 refiners, 8 refiners, 8 refineries, so on and so forth until the last one, which is those 6 refineries. And also I have these water pipes semi-connected together. I'm gonna fully connect them later whenever I decide to put my water down. I think I'm gonna put my water extractors on that end just because I want to have like a big line of pipes coming down here. I think it will look cool like I did with the coal power plant. But now what I get to do is the unpackagers, which is going to be easier. There's no doubt about that, but only marginally. Okay, ignore this bit. A pathway is going to go right here, and it's going to cover all of it. It'll go over it. You won't see it, but I had to... This had to happen no matter what, because the lines are going anywhere. The unpackagers are in, and oh my god, was the math so much easier on this one. It was so easy. Each belt fit into everything perfectly, and then at the very end, where I had these 6 refineries, I just put them with these set of 2, with these 6 at the very end. It goes 8. It's so nice and clean. We have a row of 8, row of 8, row of 8, row of 8, and then 1, 2, and 1, and 2. They're connected. And then these 6 are at the end. Oh, this was so much nicer and cleaner and pretty and didn't make my brain explode. So happy. Okay. And the, like, unpackaged pipes are together, so they're all connected. Same with the inputs and outputs. I'm doing a lot, not a lot. I'm doing an okay amount of belting underneath here. There's, you know, a little bit of clipping because I'm doing straight pipe, or straight belt mode. But most of it is relatively clean, it's pretty, and it makes sense, which is important. Now, with these unpackagers done, technically we only have about 2 things to do left, which is put all of the fuel power plants in and connect the belts up. I mean, connect the pipes up. And then also put all the water extractors in and connect the pipes up. We do need canisters to run this thing, which means I am going to use those medium nodes and just have them running for a few minutes till everything fills up. My plan is, I think I said at the beginning, I was trying to do enclosed loops. I didn't do that. My realization was when I was doing the turbo fuel power plant, the closed loops were a problem, except for the fact that since all of these are sectioned off so neatly into 8, they should be okay. We shouldn't have any overflow issues. You might look at this and go, that's the ugliest thing I've ever seen in my life. And you'd be right. These refineries up here are for the canisters. I have a big ass backlog of them. I have these set up in mergers, but imagine this wasn't here, right? Imagine that. It'd be fantastic. What you would see is these 7 little conveyor belts that are coming from all the machines over here, taking these canisters over to the water packagers. I'm so happy it is done. Like the cycle, all I have to do now is water, which I've already started like the process for. And then after that, we just hook up all these pipes to the fuel things, which I already started the process for. Now, if we go over here, I know you can't really tell, but I can. This curve has been extended by about 10 foundations, so it is slightly longer than it used to be. The reason for that is I wanted this to be a row of 10, because then the math is super easy. What I do now is I fit 10 machines right here, and we have a full row. So every 5 foundations, I can fit 2 rows of 10 fuel generators. I have 7 rows available to me, which is 140 fuel generators. In the back, I needed to fit 20 more, so I extended this by a few, so then I could place down another row of fuel generators and still have some space to do some other stuff just in case. What I'm going to do now is set up the fuel towers. What I'm going to do is right in that space right there, I'm going to set up fuel towers. In fact, I already made the blueprint for them right here. These fluid buffers. It's a quick little simple design using these new rail thingies that I love, the construction fences. I wanted to put them in something and I felt like this was a good thing to do it in. So I'm going to have an extra layer of these frame foundations below, so it's 2 layers up. The reason I'm doing this is if you know anything about fluids, you know that once a fluid is at a certain height, it will always be able to get back up to that height. So I want to add the towers because there will be 7 of them. 1, it'll look really cool. And 2, no matter what happens, whether I go below ground and back up, or if I need to go over some things to get to the fuel generators, there will be enough head lift. So I'm going to put the towers in, and we'll see how it looks, and then we're gonna do something fun with the water extractors. I don't know if you can hear it, but the my neighbor is laying a new concrete driveway in, and they're currently digging stuff up, and so the loudest jackhammer in the world is being slammed into my eardrums at any given time if I don't have my headphones on. These are our fuel towers. They look fantastic. I have everything hooked up in the back, of course. The one at the very end, that fuel tower, is the pipe that only has 66% of the amount of fuel it's supposed to have, which is like 400 fuel or like 450 fuel. I don't exactly remember what. The other 6 towers are full 600 pipes. Everything is hooked up. We have the fuel pumps in. I am using Mark I pumps. The reason for that is I still don't have a heavy modular frame factory, so I can't use Mark II pumps without handcrafting a bunch of them. And also, I only need like 10 meters of lift, right? I don't need the full 50 meters. So Mark II pumps, while they do look better, I don't need them. With these towers in, that means this whole section is done. I mean, I still need to do like the decoration bits, but all the lines are in, all the pipes are in, all the machines are in. That needs to be deleted because it's ugly as hell. And I need to add some nice, beautiful details that'll make things look pretty. And I need to do the lines for everything. I know what you might be thinking. Why don't you just, like, with the blueprints, put lines in? I honestly forget that I can do that. I just forget about power lines until the very end. What I'm going to do now is something I did with my coal power plant. I bet you can guess what it is. That's right. We're doing a water curve. Oh, it looks nice. Although, it's not nearly as good as the coal power plant one because I don't have these lovely lines everywhere taking up my graphics and trying to murder me. And considering this is a much bigger line, the curve is a lot easier to do and I don't have them nearly as close together, all the little sections. But oh my god, does it look so nice. I really wish I could do like pipes on that side too, but I'm not gonna because there's no use. Now, the whole reason I've been stalling on doing the fuel power plants is because I've been waiting for my resources to build up. To make these things, it's actually kind of expensive when you're making 160 of them. I'm using all my encased industrial beams to make all the belts, and my rubber wasn't built up that much. I only had like 2,000, so I had to return on some refineries and started building up rubber, and I think I just got 7,000 rubber, which is how much I need. So it's now finally time to put in these damn fuel power plants. They're definitely in. Something you might notice is I had to extend it by 6 foundations, so I did a little curve over there to do so. My math was slightly off. Who would have guessed I messed something up? Truly surprising. You wanna know something else I found funny? Doing this. Or like putting it on land. It spins so weirdly. Come on, show me. It's just going around. That's great. Anyways, Yes, all the goddamn fuel generators are in. I took 4 trips over to my container bins. I used many thousands of resources. Now it is time to hook it all up with some pipes. You can look over this and you'll be like, oh, I've done a great job and, you know, things are in. And I just checked the math real quick because I was really confused why I had an extra fluid buffer, but these machines would be completely powered already by a line I had already put in. And I was like, huh, I wonder what I messed up. And I found, oh my God. Okay, so here's where I messed up. When I was doing the packagers and whatnot and unpacking, I was doing the pipes as if they were belts. So for every 8 machines, I would do a full pipe. It should be every 10 machines. I only need 5.3 belts, not 6.66. I meant pipes. I do need 6.66 belts, but I only need 5.33 pipes. I can either take that last fluid buffer and way down here, where it is over here, I can basically split it evenly into all of these machines. No, that still wouldn't work. Because I have enough fluids in each of these things for... When I said 20 earlier, I meant 30. Each pipe powers 30 machines, which makes everything a whole lot easier. Right now, each one of my pipes powers 24 machines. I thought I was powering 15 machines. Basically, everything is fucked. The other issue is I have to raise these fluid buffers anyways because of where I put these pipelines in. I didn't want to lower them down too much because it would have blocked the view. So I actually need them here, which means I was going to raise these anyways, and I have to redo all of this piping. So what I'm going to do is find an older save where I have done all of the fuel things, but I haven't put any pipes in yet, or somewhere around that. And I'm going to raise these fluid buffers and properly do the math right here. Well, I'm going to fix this issue now, I guess. No, I for sure saved myself time there. It's actually been about 40-ish minutes since what you just saw. And all the piping's done. With these fuel pipes in, that means the last thing for me to do is water extractors. That is it. And then, like, hook all the things up to power lines and decorating. But for the mechanical bit, and for all the bits that are piping and belting and machine-wise, we just have water extractors. Now, you may have noticed this in the middle here. There's going to be a big-ass walkway right here. It's like the center point of this whole thing. For our water extractors, I'm going to do something very similar to what I did with the coal extractors, which is basically everything is on these gripped metal foundations, like so. Now, one problem I might run into is the unsolicited void, which means I don't know if water extractors work out here. Let's check. Water extractors work out here, and they work... This is dangerous. Okay, they work pretty far. So yeah, I should be okay when it comes to water. So I just powered everything on. As you can see, everything is running right now while the overflows are sort of building up. What I'm going to do now is start doing all the decorations and the pathways and whatnot while all the overflows start happening, and come and check back every 10 to 20 minutes to see when things have filled up. Now, I have done the water, as you can see. It basically looks the exact same as what I did over at my coal power plant, using these metal things as kind of like those metal pathways you see at docks, and the water's all underneath. These towers, the buffers, I do like. Glad I put them in. They added some height to the back here, and you know, they actually have a use of being high up, so you know, it pushes all the water through. I think they look pretty good. They'll look even better when there is a path right here and everything is detailed though. So I'm gonna go do that now. I gotta say, this looks absolutely fantastic. But we have a problem, a very, very big one. I'm fairly certain I mentioned earlier, I had to make all of these a continuous loop. So these 8 machines go into these 8 machines, which go into those 8 machines, which go into those 8 machines, which loop back. Otherwise, the overflows would get messed up and all of my power plants would slowly shut each other off. I didn't do that, completely forgot about it, and now they're shutting each other off. I'm supposed to be making 44,000 megawatts of power. That time card you just saw where it said 10 hours later, yeah, I'm not joking. I've been waiting for this overflow, and we are at 32,000 and dropping. We have a problem. That is, I need to redo all the belts. So I'm gonna do that. Now, the big issue is I don't know how long that'll take. My assumption is it'll take me 2 hours, and I don't have time to upload this video today if that's the case. So I'm gonna give you a tour of the factory, and if there is a clip after this where I've fixed everything, hooray. And if there's not, I will fix it before next episode. So I want to kind of go through the details, the little bits that I did. First of all, we'll start off here. I chose 2 different styles for the walls. One is this slope wherever there is clear ground that I am sitting on. So whenever I wanted to foundation this build and say, okay, it has to have a support structure where there is clear ground, actual, you know, land it'll sit on, it'll have this 2 slope. Whenever we're in the water, though, I do something like this, which is inward and kind of having the pathway hanging. The reason I did this was 1, looks, and 2, I felt like it made the most sense. Having all this heavy concrete go out and into the water to form like a dam, I felt like was stupid and didn't seem right in my head. And so having, you know, this where it kind of hangs over and the concrete goes straight down and it's like the only support is that, makes a lot more sense to me, at least. The other thing is all of these pathways are in. This material is coated concrete with the -5 black, so extreme dark black. Most of my factories, you'll tell, have a very unique pattern, and by that I mean they're black and white, and that's about it. I don't add much color, but where I do add color is on a few of the other things, like the fuel buffers. Underneath them, I have the fuel color on these lights, so I can say these are fuel buffers. Over there underneath the water towers, there's a blue light to say blue, just to add some color in. And where the extractors are, I have added purple for crude oil. So I have added a little bit of color. It is around, but there are no lights in this place. But I gotta say, while just walking around here, watching all this stuff move, it's amazing, even though it's running at about 1/3 capacity. It truly is something beautiful. Well, I hope you have enjoyed this video. Even though things are not working at full capacity, everything will be fixed before next episode. And with that being said, have a good rest of your day. Bye-bye.